Today what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about cylinders. Now we're going to find the surface area of a cylinder, and we've talked a little bit about cylinders before in the form of volume, right? But we're really going to talk about it today in trying to find the surface area. Now remember that a cylinder is a geometric shape with a circle on the top and the bottom directly above each other, and they're connected. Okay, so what we have is a cylinder, right? And we want to find the surface area of it. Well, the first thing you need to find is the surface area of the bases. Well, those aren't too bad because those are really just circles, right? So I'm just going to use the area of the circle to find my bases. Okay, now remember there's two of them. There's the top and then there's the bottom. So we got that. But once we find that, we're pretty good there. Then we need to find all of this area right here. And this is where we call, what is, well, if it was a can, a label, right? We'd have the label around here. Well, what this is all called right here is the lateral surface area. Okay, so all of this right here is your lateral surface area. But we need to be able to find this, all this side right here. Okay, so what we do, okay, is we find the perimeter of the base and then we multiply it times the height. Well, if we look at this, okay, and this is just kind of a visual thing for us to see on how this works, right? I'm going to wrap this piece of paper around it so we can kind of see how this works, right? So we're going to find the perimeter of the base. Well, the base is a circle, so really what we're finding is the circumference of the circle, right? So we're going to find the circumference of the circle and then multiply it times the height, right? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to unfold this label around it so you can kind of see what's going on and why this works. So I'm going to unfold this label, right? And you can see this right here is what wrapped around the circle, right? So it would wrap around. Okay, so right here is our circle, right? And we would measure this all the way around. Okay, well, when we unfold it, it's just like a rectangle. Okay, so now what we have is this side times this side, length times width. Okay, so now we have this length times width, and we're multiplying those two together to get the area here. Well, this was the circumference of the circle, and this was the height. And we can wrap it around again, just to show how this works. Okay, so this, the part that I wrapped around, okay, this right here is the circumference. This right here is the height. So that gives me this surface area, or this lateral surface area of that. Okay, so that gives me all of this right here. So that's one part of finding the surface area of this entire thing, or the total surface area. Okay, so there's that, but then you got to take that and add it to the two bases here. Okay, the base area, the two base areas. Okay, so what we have is we have an actual formula for this. So we take this, the measurements, and we apply it into a formula. Well, we got I got a couple of formulas, but they're the same formula, just written in different ways. Okay? So what I have here is the one that when I learned it, I used, right? Surface area equals the lateral surface area plus 2 base area. All right, well that's all good, but you got to know what they're talking about and what's going on, okay? The lateral surface area, remember, is just your circumference times your height. The circumference of the base, that circle, okay, the circumference here, times the height. Well, that's what this is right here, right? 2 pi r times the height. This part, and this is the formula that's actually on your sheet, right? The sheet that you're going to get at the end of the state test and everything. This is the formula that they give you, okay? So you got to be able to do this formula because this is the one that you're going to see. This is the one you're going to use. All right, so surface area equals 2 pi r. Well, that right there, that's circumference. That's your circumference, right? Times your height. Well, this right here is your lateral surface area. That part of this formula is talking about all of this right here. That's what it's talking about. All right, so we have that, okay? And then plus 2 base area. Well, base area, the area of the base, well, the area of the base is a circle, so you need to find the area of the circle. Okay, so we're going to find the area of the circle, and then we're going to multiply it times 2. Well, why would we multiply it times 2? Well, because there's 2 of them. There's one here, and then there's one back here too. So you have 2 bases, all right? So here, pi r squared, area of a circle. That's the area, or the formula for area of a circle. Okay, so all we're doing is taking this information, right? We're going to find the radius, the height, and we're going to plug it in here so that we can find the total surface area, all right? That's all there really is to this. It's a lot of substitution, but it's a lot of recognizing, oh, that's what this is talking about, that the lateral surface area is talking about the circumference times the height. And so it's a lot of recognizing what the formulas are and what they are applying to. All right, so we're going to take these formulas and we're going to start using them, and we're going to apply it to some cylinders. To some cylinders. Okay, so over here, what I've done is I've already set up some of these. Now, we have a cylinder right here, okay? And right here I have the formula. Don't worry about these formulas up here. Those are for something else. But I have my formula right here. 2 pi RH LSA. That's my LSA. That's my lateral surface area. And then here, 2 pi r squared. Okay? So we're pretty good here. Here's my base area. And because there's 2, I'm going to be multiplying it times this 2. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to work through this problem. So the first thing I do before I do anything else is I look at my cylinder and I go, okay, how much is the diameter, how much is the radius, and how much is the height? And I write it down, okay? I always do this so that I don't mess it up when I put it into here. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is go, oh, what did they give me? Well, midway across the circle, that's your radius. So my radius is 8 centimeters. And as I don't worry about the units until I'm kind of done, okay? I just know that's 8. Well, if that's 8, how much is the diameter? Well, it's 16, it's twice it, okay? And then the height, they should give me the height, okay? If they don't give me the height, I've got something wrong probably with my problem. I gotta look at it. So here's my height, 10, all right? 10. Now I can take that information and substitute it into here. Okay? Once I've done that, then I just work my problem. All right, so surface area equals 2 times pi. Well, in most of our problems right now, we're going to use 3.14. Later on, I'm going to show you how to do this another way where we just leave the symbol in, but that would be for another video. Okay, so right now for today, we're going to be substituting in 3.14. So times, and I'm going to use parentheses for multiplication, 3.14 times the radius, which I wrote down my radius so I knew what it was, 8 times the height, 10. Plus, now this right here, this is my LSA, this is my lateral surface area, okay? So here, that's all of this right here, this label, okay? This, 2 times pi, 3.14, radius squared, 8 squared. That's my base area, and there's 2 of them, because I got 2 bases, so I got 2 base areas, okay? Now, here, guys, I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna use a calculator. Get a calculator out, plug this stuff in. It's easier, okay? So we're gonna get out a calculator. All right, and I'm gonna do this. 2 times 3.14 times 8 times 10. And I'm just gonna do this little part right here, okay? Because I wanna know what is my lateral surface area. So I'm gonna do this first. 2 times 3.14 times 8 times 10. So my lateral surface area right here is 502.4. So right there, that's what I'm looking at right there. All right, now that's my lateral surface area plus and then I'm going to do this, 8 to the second power, which is 64 times 3.14 times 2 plus 401.92. Okay, this is my 2 base area. This is not my base area, this is my 2 base area. That's this times that, okay? So this is both my bases combined, all right? This would not just be my base area. In order to find that, I would have just done this part right here, okay? So now here, I'm gonna put these together and I'm gonna add them up, okay? 401.92 plus 502.4, enter them together, 904.32 centimeters squared, because we're talking about area, okay? So this right here, my surface area, equals 904.32 centimeters squared. Now watch some of your problems, because some of them are going to ask you to round or do something else. Pay attention to what's asking and watch that, okay? But right here, I'm good on this. This is all they're asking for. All right, so my surface area is this, right? Normally, this is what it's going to look like, okay? They're going to say, what's the surface area of this? All right, well, this is what they're looking for. It's really not, it's not terrible difficult, because it's just basically substitution. All right, this is the stuff we've been doing since the beginning of the school year, substituting in. But write this stuff down so that you have it. All right, we're going to keep doing some problems, and I'm going to show you kind of how, whenever I did it, I was kind of taught. Now look, notice what I've done here. Here's your cylinder, okay? But look at what I've done. Diameter, radius, height, circumference, base area, LSA, surface area. Now, over time, this is how I've started asking people to do this, right? I want you to show me all of this. Now, get more math, they're not going to expect this. But if you're in my class, I'm probably going to, at different times, ask you to give me all of this information. Okay? So, depending on what it is, you're going to have to be able to do this. Well, let's look at our cylinder here. All right. Here's my cylinder. What information did they give me? Well, it's all the way across. That's the diameter. So my diameter is 8. Okay? Well, if my diameter is 8, my radius is half of that, so it's 4. Okay? Now, did they give me my height? Yeah. 12, right? All right, so 12. Now I need my circumference. This is where I can get to go to my formula, and I'm going to write down my formula real quick just so that I don't forget it. So surface area equals 2 pi r h plus 2 pi r squared. Now remember, this 2 pi r h, that's your circumference. 2 pi r h is your circumference. So circumference equals 2 times 3.14 times the radius, 4. That's circumference. I said 2 pi r h, that's LSA. 2 pi r, that's your circumference. Make sure you say it correctly. So here, I need to just multiply those together, so I got my circumference. Now, when I do this, I'm actually going to label this one correctly. Okay, so 25.12. inches. And I'm going to label these correctly. When I start getting into these, I start labeling them correctly. Okay, because I want to remember, what am I talking about here? Okay, I'm making sure what I'm talking about off to the side. So when I do this, I label them correctly. Especially if you're turning it in for a grade, you need to make sure you label it correctly. All right, so base area. Well, the base area, remember, the base is a circle, so you're going to just find the area of the circle, base area. So pi r squared. pi r squared. All right, well, 3.14 times your radius, 4 raised to the second power. Okay, no problem. This is 16. 16 times 3.14. 16 times 3.14. 50.24 inches squared. Because you're talking about area. You're talking about area. Okay? So now that is just this top one. Right? Okay? There's two of them. Okay? That's why in our formula it gets multiplied by 2. All right, so now we want the LSA. Well, LSA is just your circumference times your height. That's all it is. So now that I have my circumference, I have my height. I can just multiply those two things together to get my LSA. All right, 25.12 times 12. Now I have 301.44 inches squared. Again, we're talking about area, so we're going to do that. All right, so now I want my total surface area. All right, well, I found my base area. So now I can take this, multiply it times 2, and then add my LSA. And now I have this. So 50.24 times 2 plus 301.44. And you have 401.92 inches squared. All right. So I took from just having these three things to having my circumference, my base area, my LSA, and my total surface area. As you can do this. Now, could I have just plugged it into my formula to get my total surface area? Absolutely. And it would have worked perfectly. And if that's all they're asking for, do that. That's fine. But understand that you can get more information out of this and understand that circumference times the height gets me my LSA, that I have two bases, so I need to multiply the base area times 2 and then add it to my LSA to get my total surface area. It's about the concept of what's going on there. All right? You can do this. Not a big deal. All right. How much time have I done? All right, so here, all they're asking for, LSA and surface area. LSA and surface area. All right. Here's the deal. Here's our formula. Right here is our LSA. So if I want my LSA, this is the part that I'm going to be using of my formula. All right? First things first, what did they give me? Diameter, radius, height. Every time. Just so you don't mess anything up. Okay? Well, my radius is 18. My height is 10. And my diameter must be 36. 8 and 8, 16, 36. All right, so 36, 18, 10. Really, if I've got my radius, I don't necessarily need my diameter if all I'm using is this formula. But I like to write it down so I don't mess it up. Okay, so here, I'm going to take this information, substitute in there, get my LSA and my surface area. Okay, LSA, lateral surface area. Remember, it's this side right here. That's what they're talking about. All right, so let's find our lateral surface area first, which is this right here. So 2 pi 3.14 times the radius, 18, times the height, which is 10. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and write this other stuff out because I want that information too. So plus 2 3.14 times 18 squared. Okay, so I'm going to do this part first because this is my lateral surface area. This right here is the LSA. Okay, so I want this part first. So I'm going to do that. All right, 2 times 3.14 times 18 times 10. Pretty good size. 1130.4, right? So if I'm doing LSA right here, this is the number I'm gonna put in there, but I'm gonna make sure to label it correctly, okay? Plus, and I'm gonna go ahead and do this one, 2 times 3.14 times 18 to the second power. 2034.72. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move this up here. 1130.4 centimeters squared. That's my LSA. That's my lateral surface area. It's this part right here. It's this right here. Okay? Now, I'm going to combine these two. So plus 1130.4, and I've got 3,165.12 centimeters squared. That's all there is to it, guys. It really is. That's all it is. Okay. I was going to do this other one. I'm not going to do this one, but I am going to show you something on it because I want you to see this. Normally, they give you this stuff at the top, okay? On this one, they gave it to you at the bottom. It really doesn't change anything, okay? This is the same shape. It's still a circle, but now they gave me the diameter of 10. So my radius would be 5, okay? So here, I'm gonna go ahead and show you this. Diameter equals 10, radius equals 5, and then height equals 30, okay? So that's how that goes, all right? Just because it's at the bottom doesn't really change anything, okay? It's still, that's still your diameter, and your radius is still half of that, and then you have your height, okay? Now, from here, now I'm gonna plug these into my formula to get my LSA and my I call it the TSA, the total surface area, but the surface area, okay? That's what you're looking at, okay? Yeah, if you run into problems, you get stuck on something, let me know. Rewatch the video because, well, that went pretty smoothly. So if you need something, let me know.